You're listening to my cousin DLils on
It's DLils, you rockin' with HipHop and home runs. We don't criticize pros, man, it's all fun. Urban media, yeah, we talking sports, debating issues, spitting game on and off the court. It's HipHop and home runs.
HipHop and HomeRuns.com.
Here with DLils on HipHop and HomeRuns.com. It's been a week or so since I met with you guys previously. A lot has changed in the sports world, so we want to really get right into it. ESPN released their top 50 power rankings for NBA players entering the season. There's been a lot of hoopla about where Kobe was placed on this list, and I'm going to get to that in a second. I have released my own top 50 NBA power rankings, and what I'm going to do is release, starting from 50, moving to number 1, the 5 players in each of those ranges every other day. So today you guys will be getting, I believe, 45 through 41. But getting back to Kobe, so you know, Kobe uses this stuff as motivation, but the hoopla here is about whether or not he is the 40th ranked best player in the league right now. A lot of arguments have been made that he should be higher. I think that was a good place for ESPN to put Kobe, and here's why. If you only have to go on the last year and a half, he really struggled field goal percentage wise. He's still taking among top 5 in shot attempts in the NBA, and just his overall player efficiency is not that great. I mean, at this stage in his career, he lacks the athleticism, the explosiveness, nor the defensive prowess to be able to put himself in the top 25 or even top 30. So, I'm totally fine with having him at number 40. Personally, in my power rank, and I am going to let you guys know where I ranked him. I haven't gotten to this point in my power rankings as far as released on hiphopandhomeruns.com, but right now I have Kobe at number 32. Okay, and granted, that's not a bad place to be, but I still have guys like John Wall in front of him. Andre Iguodala, people that 5 years ago you would have said, oh, there's no way that he'll ever eclipse Kobe. But in all reality, if you look at a player like John Wall, I use a lot of different metrics to make my power rankings. Of course, I use the eye test, but overall, I like to look at that player's overall value to that team. John Wall is high value. He's arguably a top 4 point guard on my list. If I were to look at the other point guards that I've already have here ranked, he would be he'd be number 6. Actually, I'm sorry, he's the number 7th power highest ranked point guard on my list. So, the list is not very questionable when you look who's in front of Kobe. I look at people that have high value. Dirk is 2 spots in front of Kobe. Again, I don't want to get into it. You guys go ahead and sign on to hiphopandhomeruns.com. You'll be able to see it throughout the next 2 weeks who I have on my top 50. But again, I'm looking at players who have been able to still produce at a high level and players that still have high value to the team. The reason that Kobe's value is so high at this point in his career is because he's box office. Because people still want to come see him. They still want to see, can he do what he was capable of doing before the injury? He's just a box office hit at this point, but he's not going to be an NBA All-Pro player. Okay, he might not even make third team All-Pro. So yeah, NBA season starting off. I've caught a couple preseason games. Cavs look good. I have to admit, I like David Blatt's offense. Me personally, I'm a basketball lover. And what that means is that yes, I like both the and one stuff and I like the Princeton offense stuff. Both are on opposite sides of the spectrum. But I played ball at Severna Park High School. We ran the Princeton offense. We were very ball screen, cut and move oriented offense. And I can appreciate the finer things in life, okay, when it comes to basketball, when it comes to ball movement. David Blatt is running a great offense. I mean, even if you watched a couple of the highlights only, they played the Heat last night. When you see, there was one play in particular where LeBron came off of his screen, looking to catch the alley-oop. It wasn't there. Okay. As a result, Dion Waiters swung the ball, Kyrie swung the ball. LeBron came off of a corner screen and had a three in the corner. And I just thought, wow, San Antonio is in trouble. If you're going to give the athletes that Cleveland has the similar offense that San Antonio brings, they're going to get blown out. The reason why San Antonio was so successful was because those guys ran their offense and executed to a T, and the Heat did not. It's not that the Heat didn't make enough stops down the stretch. The Heat could not play. The Heat could not generate offense. The whole LeBron D-Wade handoff, one-on-one ISO, it was not effective against the Spurs defense. This offense will be very effective because it puts players in mismatch situations coming off the screens. You could end up having a Tony Parker lining up on LeBron. That's going to be a problem. Not to mention that any of the forwards that come off of a screen and switch and now are on Kyrie or Dion Waiters, that's going to be an automatic mismatch. So, again, I've seen the Cavs. The Cavs look real good. The Warriors look good. Under Steve Kerr, Steph appears to still have the green light. Klay Thompson still appears to have the green light. Harrison Barnes, Uncle Harry Potter. I'm telling you, that kid, most improved NBA player. I'm already putting him on there. He will be a nominee for NBA's most improved player. He looks good. He looks a lot more confident. I think last year he was really lacking that confidence when they brought Iguodala over from Denver. And, that hit his ego a bit because, again, people were expecting Harrison Barnes to step into the starting five, and then to see him get put back into a reserve bench on the role of six-man coming off the bench after Andre Iguodala, that really kind of, it's not what the fans wanted to see. That's what Mark Jackson thought was best. But what I'm seeing Steve Kerr do is having Harrison Barnes start. Let him get going offensively, because Klay, instant offense. He can get going first, second, third, fourth quarter. Same thing with Steph. But Harrison Barnes is one of those players that he needs to get into the flow of things early. Let him come in the first quarter. Let him get 7 to 8 points in the first quarter. Bring Andre Iguodala in to shut things off defensively. And then, manage the rest of the game. I think Steve Kerr has a good thing going. We'll have to watch. We'll have to stay tuned. Another potential nominee that I do want to bring up for a potential most improved player, OJ Mayo. Last year he came into camp overweight. He kind of lost his step, lost that burst of quickness. And this year he has it back. He's confident. I think having Jabari come, that kind of, put him on watch. Like, hey, I need to pick it up. And now they have him coming off the bench also in a reserve role, which I'm seeing a lot of coaches do now. A lot of coaches are taking their best scorer, or maybe their second best scorer, putting them on the bench and having them play that Jamal Crawford role, that J.R. Smith role. Because you see in the NBA championship and the NBA finals how vital it is to have depth on your bench. So, again, preseason basketball, NBA is back. Really excited. And, again, you guys are going to get a lot of coverage from me when it comes to the NBA. But I want to change gears and look at some football highlights and some things that have been going on in the football community, both NCAA and NFL. Before I go into the whole Bo Jackson, Jameis stuff, I want to mention that I have a real problem with. Okay, so I was listening to the Paul Feinbaum show last night. Paul is he's unique, okay? He brings that southern twang to sports radio shows. And, of course, he has that affiliation with the SEC network. Everybody's calling in are from the deep South. You can hear it in their voices. And one thing I didn't like, he has a tremendous amount of callers who really are attacking Jameis. I mean, maliciously saying this guy is a scumbag. Let's pump our brakes on this. The only thing that I've seen Jameis do that was highly suspect is his off-the-field accusations of sexual assault. Okay. Obviously, that's unacceptable. I'm not going to condone that at all. But he was proved innocent of any wrongdoing. It's very capable. Okay, folks, let's not again, not condoning sexual assault. Absolutely horrible. But let's not be naive to think that star football players do not have allegations of sexual assault. This is not the first time this happens. Okay? We have known that there have been cases of females throughout history who have been galvanized by these future NFL players, and in an attempt to either create publicity or create a financial gain, sometimes make false accusations. Not saying that happened in this particular situation. He's still under review by the school board. But again, we just have to look at things on a more realistic basis. Okay? We cannot be naive about what happens in our society. Both men and women are capable of horrific acts at this point in time. We're living in a different age. So let's just not be so quick to condemn Jameis. Again, he yelled the meme blank her and her blank. I think we all know and have heard what he said at this point. For all we know, he could be pledging a fraternity. It could have been a dare. It could be a prank. It could be a lot of things. He's 20 years old. I did a lot of crazy things as 20 years old on the campus of the University of Delaware. Let me just say that. But again, everything outside of that, the autographs, let me tell you, if we were to look at every SEC team, I guarantee you we would find at least two people who have received money for autographs. This is the SEC we're talking about. I'm almost 99% confident that every team has one or two players because these guys are going to the league, and these small autograph memorabilia firms want to make money off of these players. So it's not surprising that these things get released. My only problem is, hey, kind of like what Colin Cowherd said, I think it's pretty scummish to illegally give these players money off of the books, knowing that they're going to get in trouble. And then when the time comes and the investigation begins, you immediately snitch, rat out, whatever you want to say, these players to the NCAA. You're still making a profit. You're still going to make a profit. You still have autographs that they're going to continue to put on memorabilia. So I just think that's kind of twisted world we live in, but it is what it is. But staying with NCAA, my midseason Final Four for the playoffs at this point, I have FSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Bama, with Notre Dame first team looking out. Of course, I'm 100% sure this will change because Ole Miss has to play Mississippi State, and Ole Miss still has to play Alabama, I believe. Or Mississippi State still has to play Alabama. I'll have to verify on the schedule, but again, these are the four teams that I feel that are the most dominant at this point. I haven't been able to catch any Mississippi State games, which I've heard that they have a very tenacious defense. I've been staying with this Ole Miss team the last couple of years. Bo Wallace, he has a decent arm, average mobility. If I was to compare him to anybody, I would say he's kind of like a Phillip Rivers. Okay, he doesn't have that sidearm throwing action, but again, he has a strong enough arm to get the ball down the field. He has enough fluid mobility that he can move within and out of the pocket to change his throwing window. Again, they try to run this little spread option sometimes. He's not an option quarterback, but he does have enough athleticism where he can pick up 4 to 6 yards on a run. So I'm confident that Ole Miss will be there, and I'm confident that Florida State will be there simply because Florida State's schedule is cake the rest of the way. Mississippi State, again, if they beat Ole Miss, they'll be in there. Alabama, they have to win out. Notre Dame, if they win out, I fully expect them to pop back in the picture. They play Florida State pretty tough. So, we'll have to stay tuned, but the SEC is obviously dominating college football this year. Going with this whole midseason themes, my midseason MVP at this point, obviously got to be Peyton Manning, hands down. A lot of people will argue DeMarco, but the thing with DeMarco, he's obviously in my top 5 if I was going to say possible MVPs, but DeMarco isn't he doesn't change your whole team. We've had DeMarco for the past few seasons, okay? He hasn't been able to stay healthy. DeMarco does not motivate his team. When I think of him most valuable player, I'm thinking of the person who impacts not only his team, but impacts the team in which the team impacts the entire NFL. Right now, the Cowboys are impacting the entire NFL. The Broncos are as well. Peyton Manning already broke Brett Favre's record this year. Again, why I give Peyton Manning the slight advantage when he got in Julius Thomas' face, that pretty much convinced me that they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Peyton is not playing any games. He's not ever really been a guy who, I've seen him jump in Lyman's face. I've seen him be in Jeff Saturday's face many a days in Indianapolis. But he's not the kind of guy who, he didn't get in Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne's face too often. Or Pierre Garçon. These were guys who were good receivers, solid receivers, didn't have egos, ran routes well. He always used to get at the linemen. But here at Denver, you see him getting in the face of these young receiving core, just asking and expecting no less than 100% excellence. And that's the true makings of a most valuable player in this NFL. Now, they have a tough schedule to go, and I'll be able to gauge more of this MVP race after they play New England and San Diego. But like I said, so far so good. I had Peyton number 1. In regards to the Percy Harvin trade, well, reports have already surfaced about what Percy's done. I think it might be a little deeper than that. I think that it's not just so much about the NFL fights, because granted, there's players that get in altercations with other players in the locker room all the time, all over the league. This is football. It's a barbaric sport. You're gonna have that barbaric attitude, and that's gonna carry over into the locker room. It's hard to turn off. So I don't think it was all about that, because he was very well liked by his teammates, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The defensive teammates, your Shermans, your Earl Thomases, your Smiths, your linemen, they all felt that Percy Harvin brought a defensive attitude to the offensive side of the ball. So my thing is, do you ever look at Percy Harvin and think, is this guy, he has the glassy eyes, the really dark lips, eyes are always red, he looks a little out of it. Could have something to do, there are a different set of rules in Seattle, Washington. Maybe Pete Carroll did not want to put so much faith in this player to later lose him towards the end of the season. And I'm drinking tea. We're gonna end that discussion there. Again, not accusing anyone, just what I like to do is just bring the truth to. I like to bring different aspects of the truth to the surface, and that's one aspect that is not being looked at all. I digress. Don't forget to check out Behind the Bets with DLils, guys. I'm on fire. My lock picks, 4 weeks in a row, my lock pick is hit. 2 weeks ago, I had an $800 parlay card. Guys, follow me on Twitter at HipHop capital N home runs, because you would see that I have been having some success on the sports betting. You guys just gotta follow me, and you gotta go to the Behind the Bets page on hiphopandhomeruns.com. Again, Wednesdays and Thursdays is when I update. I'll be updating this evening in preparation for our Thursday night showdown with Peyton Manning and Phillip Rivers. So, guys, continue to support me. Continue to check it out. I'm working on a big sports and hip hop video. Hopefully, I'll have it released soon in the next week or so. And also, keep visiting the page and find out who my top 10 NBA players are. I'll be releasing the power rankings every other day. By next week, we should have our top 5. Stay tuned, guys. Have a good one.